Good afternoon. We're back with more Lord of the Rings LCG, and today is Wastes of Eriador on Nightmare difficulty. This quest has a day-night mechanic, which is kind of interesting. You can only make progress on the quest during the day. At night you get an extra encounter card, and there's a variety of buffing shadow effects for enemies that hurt more at night. So let's get started. Got a lot of accelerators in the opening hand. More than I'll need, I think. So I could consider using a secondary function on Heed the Dream here. If I don't find... So I got enough to use 5 resources. If I use the secondary on Heed the Dream, I'll spend 3 to find another card, but I wouldn't have anything left to play it, so we'll let that go. But I could use Good Harvest to use the second Heed the Dream, which is what I'll do, because then I can find a 2-cost card that I can play. So Knight of the Swan I like more than Hunter of Lamedon, so I'll grab that. And then I can Very Good Tail, and if I get anything decent, that'll be a very strong start. And 2 more Outlands allies, so that is a very good first turn with 6 Outlands allies. Hard to lose from that point. Doesn't matter too much what the quest is. So, Bloodthirsty Warg, when the day-night cycle flips to night, the Bloodthirsty Warg is going to attack. And it flips at the end of every round from day to night and night back to day. So I have to reveal another card at night, and it's going to be Pack Hunters, which gets minus 30 engagement cost at night. So both of these enemies, and when it becomes night, the Bloodthirsty Warg engages, so the Pack Hunter will engage in the next encounter phase. And the Warg gets a second shadow card for it being night, so 2 damage there to a Marthiel. And he's gonna begin the round exhausted, because the end of the round attack by the Bloodthirsty Warg happens after the refresh phase. So got another accelerator, and fortunately the Hunter of Lamedon draws a blank, but that's okay. So for the night, we're just gonna quest for our minimum amount and focus on combat. If it's night, raise threat by 4, okay. And the Pack Hunters will engage, which means I have to look at the top 10 cards of the deck to find a Warg enemy to put into play engaged with me. It's going to be Wolf of Angmar. So if I hadn't had a really strong start, I'd be in some trouble here. This quest can get you in some trouble with an overwhelming amount of enemies early if you're a little bit slow getting started. Attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. That's annoying. At least it's only a 2-attack enemy, so that's going to buff it up to 3, so that'll do 1 damage. Oh, no it won't. I have 2 Warriors of Lossarnach, so no damage. And the Bloodthirsty Warg is also going to get an additional attack, so we're already up to 4 attacks this combat phase. And it removes all progress from my quest. And after this attack, attacking enemy engages the next player. There is no next player, so got a total of 5 attacks, and I've still got some combat power ready to go for one or two of these enemies. When it flips to day, all the enemies are going to go back to the staging area, so I want to prioritize enemies which have an effect when they engage, because the enemies that are surviving will be re-engaging later. So the bloodthirsty warg is going to live. At the end of the round, he will go back to the staging area. On to the next round. Not much to play this round, but that's okay. Already off to a really strong start. So just gonna think about how much I want to quest here. How much I want to quest for here. I would kind of like to take out the bloodthirsty warg before it flips back to night, because then he won't get the double attack from the engagement and then his normal attack. So I'm thinking about it. I don't mind questing lightly here. When I get this deck set up, I can make the 20 progress I need in one round. That's no problem. Don't want to delay forever, because when it becomes night, you do raise threat by 1. So the encounter card's going to be another pack hunter. I'd like to take out both of these enemies, but they don't make engagement checks, so I can only optionally engage one of them. So I choose the bloodthirsty warg, as it's the more difficult one to destroy. Not sure which is worse, an additional attack or an additional warg. Fresh in my mind was the last time I had a pack hunter, it only brought a minor enemy out of the deck, so I was thinking I'd just do that again, and maybe it'll be a little bit more mild than a second attack from a bloodthirsty warg. That's debatable, though. So, continuing to get set up, and basically got everything I need now to beat the quest. Just want to clear the board. And then during the daybreak, probably move on to the next round. Snowy Badlands. Enemies in the staging area can't take damage. So let's deal a damage to an exhausted character. 2 if it's night. It is night. Once again, we gotta bring another warg into play. This time I should be able to deal with both of them, though. Just grab a Wolf of Angmar. It does have 4 attack, but it's got very few hit points. So put the second attack on Forlong. Discard an attachment. Rip Steward of Gondor, but it did its job. And I've got plenty of attack power to take out both enemies. So, when we flip back to day, it should be no problem. Well, a little light on willpower because of only 1 Ethir Swordsman, but I can use the Heed the Dream here to find 1 or possibly 2 more. And then we can just move on. Don't really have enough to use the secondary function unless I was looking for a 1-drop. I could have used it to find the last night of the Swan, but I opted not to. Or I could have not played an Anfalas Herdsman and used it to find the last Ethir Swordsman, but I wasn't in too much of a hurry here because of the very fast and very strong setup. So wargs can't be optionally engaged and the quest gets +3. That's no problem. Got more than enough to advance here. So, gotta bring a warg enemy into play. It's gonna be hunting pack. And we need to make 15 progress. That's going to be one more night and day cycle. And when it flips to night, I have to discard an ally. I do have allies to spare for that. No problem taking out this enemy. Wouldn't have been able to optionally engage him if it was still phase 1. Due to the encounter card that attached to phase 1. And the encounter card reveal from Nightfall is a surge, so it surges into a quest, which is not a bad quest against this. I mean, it doesn't do much against this deck. So you have to put all the cards from hand face down under it, and with the Outland Swarm you often don't have any cards in hand. So we just need to quest for a little bit, and then I can fight the enemy. Well, 2 enemies, but no problem. It'll be 3 after the pack hunters bring another one in. Don't want another pack hunter. Could take the Bloodthirsty Warg. It doesn't make an attack unless it's in the staging area. So if you bring it into play, engage with me, it doesn't get its immediate attack. Exhaust a character you control, no problem. Wanted to keep the Envoy of Pelargir in case I needed a jump blocker. Could have simply looked ahead and seen that I wouldn't. So getting into the stage of the game where I don't particularly care if I lose Denethor or not. Attacking enemy engages the next character. There is no next player. There is no next player. So plenty of attack power available to take out these enemies. And just going to ignore Lost in the Wilderness. When it flips back to Daybreak, I will... It flips it today at the end of the round, so end of the round enemy effect happened before end of the round player effect, so the card that I draw from flipping to Daybreak is a forced effect, and then I have to discard it because of Erestor. But no problem. So no point to using the Very Good Tale, so I'll just quest for about 20, I guess. Maybe a little more. Make sure I clear the quest this round. And it's a 4-threat location, no problem, so that will clear phase 2. On to phase 3, we flip to Nightfall, which is going to reveal another card. A white warg. Add pack leader to the staging area, and I would have to bring a warg enemy into play if it was a 2, 3, or 4 player game. Solo, you don't have to do that. So this is a situation where the boss can't take damage unless there's progress on the quest. So I won't simply be able to defeat the pack leader. I have to exhaust the character for each warg engaged with me, so that's 2, and then I have to deal 2 damage to a character as well. plenty of characters available to exhaust. And then I just need to deal with the attacks. And I can take out the White Warg. And next round I'll make the progress I need and take out the pack leader. Returns to the staging area, so when he engages he's going to exhaust one of my characters, but no problem. So 4, 8, need 5 progress, 13, count on probably 20 at least is what I want to quest for, and then I should have plenty of progress and plenty of characters available for combat. Reveal 1 encounter card for each character in play, so I do end up with 4, 8, 12, 13, so I make 7 progress. And might as well move to the location. It doesn't matter though, this is gonna end the game here. So the pack leader will attack Forlong, which will not kill Forlong. He's at 6 HP at the moment. So that'll be 12 attack to his 4 shields is 8 damage, and that will end the game. So this can be a tricky quest. You can get overwhelmed early. The quest can throw a lot of enemies at you at once. 3 per round for multiple rounds. Could potentially even be more than 3. But in this case, I had such a strong setup with 6 Outlands allies on the first turn that I never really struggled with the quest, but definitely have in the past with getting overwhelmed with enemies in the early stages. So, thanks for watching.